What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Play-by-Play podcast. My name is Alex. I'm with Brian and AJ. Brian, you want to lead us off this week's episode?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll just go over like the broad topics we're doing. So we'll start. If you're not a baseball fan, you can skip ahead. We're going to start with some baseball wild card talk. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to some college football and NFL football. Exciting week 4 for college and week 3 for NFL.
Yep.
All right. So we'll go ahead and lead off with baseball. I know that obviously it's coming down to last 8 or 9 games, depending on what the team is. Me personally, as you can tell on my shirt, I'm kind of freaking out. Mets are 2 games safe in the third wild card spot, just kind of chilling there. I have not seen if the Diamondbacks won today. They were winning the last time I checked, so the Diamondbacks will be a game ahead for the second wild card spot, although I'm kind of torn because if they are the second wild card spot, they'd have to play the Padres again in the wild card, and that didn't go well the first time. But so let's kind of get let's kind of just, AJ, Red, let's kind of talk about, the wild card as a whole. And then maybe obviously what Shohei Ohtani did or whatever, MVPs and all that. So, AJ, I know you were looking just before we saw, what do you think about the AL wild card? Tigers kind of, they really stepped it up.
It's crazy because, last year, they won 60 games or something like that. And, shit, you even look at the Royals, and I know they're a bit on a skid right now. But it's just crazy to think the division, the wild card standings with, you got teams like the Red Sox aren't sniffing, the Rays, who have been good for so many years, they're not sniffing. And, it's kind of crazy to see what pitching will get you because, team like the Tigers, no one expected him to be here this year.
No, but they're riding Skubal. And
yeah.
I'm sorry, the name of the other guy who's been insane since the All-Star break, it's kind of skipping my mind. I can't really remember who it is, but they've really been riding those dudes.
Yeah. No, that's what wins you games late in the season because, guys are tired. 162 games, fatigue wears on you. And, it's not like 100 miles per hour gets any easier to see or a wicked slider coming from Skubal. So I think it's just kind of crazy to think, pitching is so dominant. And, when you have healthy guys that can win you games, you're going to be in it when it comes to October. So
I think health is the key word there because, you look at the MLB this season, how many bona fide aces aren't playing this year.
Yeah.
You're looking at teams that are competing for the wild card. I bet you the Braves would be in a lot better spot. Chris Sale's been dominating, flat out ace.
Yeah.
But they're missing Spencer Strider. Obviously, a less competitive team with the Marlins. They're missing Yuri Perez and Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah.
You're looking at my team, the Mets, although I do truly think that the Mets starting pitching has actually really stepped up. Severino's having a career year, so is Sean Manaea. David Peterson has shown flashes of being really good in past years, could never stay healthy.
Yeah.
This year he has been healthy. He got roughed up today.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen, and he's had a really good season. But their ace has started 6 innings and then hurt his knee in his start, Kodai Senga. So I think the health, and then shit, you could we have a whiteboard over here. You could write down all the starting pitchers that are missing for the Dodgers or were missing time for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So, their best pitcher also hit 50 home runs for them, but their best pitcher. So, I think, like you said, health is a big thing when it comes to this and when you go into the postseason. Let's go ahead. The name, obviously, the hot topic right now because he did go 50-50. Finish it last night, sealed the MVP.
6
in
for
a lot of
6.
people's minds, it probably really started to seal that GOAT category as well.
Yeah.
I actually have an interesting question for you guys. I saw this a few different times. Other people were talking about it. He's making $70 million a year as a DH. Right now, pitching in DH next year. Hopefully. If he goes down, knock on wood, because I don't hope injury on anybody. If he goes down with another injury, you can probably say his pitching career is pretty much over. If he needs like a third Tommy John or something like that. 50-50 to repeat every single year is probably impossible. But if you're a consistent 40-40 guy, but he couldn't pitch anymore, would you still be overpaying for Shohei Ohtani?
I think he would. What he has now would be just fine. That's the right price.
You think $70 million?
Yeah.
Really?
He's the best player in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Even without the pitching. The pitching is just like a cherry on top. I think like you said, 50 going 50-50, or what is it now? Technically 52-50 or whatever it is.
51-51,
51-51.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he's not going to get you that every year for the next 9 years.
I mean, if he
but-
does, he's
Yeah, if he does, definitely the GOAT.
Yeah.
But like you said, like a 40-40, something that's pretty much doable, barring any injury. Knock on wood. I think if you're the Dodgers, especially, why the fuck not?
yeah.
Like he is single-handedly carrying them in games just by his bat in some games, especially when you see the pitching being so lackluster like it's been. I think he's worth every penny so far, and into the future. Obviously, you're hoping he could come back pitching well. So that's just, like I said, just going to be a cherry on top.
So I do have a question. Do you think, obviously, the MLB made the Ohtani rule for him to DH and pitch? If we see something where Ohtani, maybe not a full tear of the UCL again, but maybe some shoulder injuries pop up, and maybe all this, he can't be a starter anymore. Dodgers want to roll him out as a closer. You think the MLB would open up and decide to make another Ohtani rule where he can hit and also close games? Obviously, it seems like he's only had one. But, I mean, shit, he sat down Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, and Mike Trout.
Yeah.
He's only closed one game, but he sat down not arguably. They are three of the best hitters in the MLB.
Yeah,
For sure.
So, I guess you could see that move too, maybe to try and the Dodgers closers since Kenley left have been very
It's been
hit
a
or
revolving
miss.
door for
Yeah,
sure.
revolving door. So if you can seal that up too, I'm sure they would love that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. I kind of want to talk about, obviously I did say, and I can say this even though I do love Francisco Lindor, that obviously Ohtani is the MVP.
Mhm.
For a while, a bunch of people would ask me, as a Mets fan, do you really think Lindor is the MVP? I said the only reason I think Lindor would ever have a shot is because I do think there is something to playing defense every single day. Having to play 162 full games.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but especially playing it at a high level.
Exactly. And he's doing both at a high level. He's going to go 30-30 again. He's probably going to win the Gold Glove at shortstop. And, when it comes to MVP, you're going to talk about player. Now, obviously, Shohei Ohtani being 50-50 is the most valuable player.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also say that Shohei Ohtani obviously is also on a better team. I couldn't remember these off the top of my head, so I wrote them down over here. But Ohtani has a 7. This is not F WAR now. This is just flat WAR.
Uh-huh.
Ohtani has a 7.7 WAR.
Jeez.
Mookie Betts has a 4.3. Freddie Freeman has a 3.9. And then you have a few other guys around 3.
Uh-huh.
Right? Francisco Lindor is a 7.4. The next person is Brandon Nimmo at a 2.8.
Oof.
And the next person after that has not played a full season for the Mets. Very promising Mark Vientos, who's probably going to hit 30 home runs and has only played in about 110 games, but that's beside the point. At 2.8 as well.
Damn.
So the Mets would be significantly worse without Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
But, obviously you can't take away from the historic season. It's the best season ever.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we're off the back of seeing arguably the best season ever with Ronald Acuna the year before with his 40-70.
Yeah.
So we talked about that. If you guys want to move over to the AL MVP, the last time we talked about this, it was almost Judge hands down. Well, Judge appeared on a certain kid's show and participated in the home run derby, and since then he's hitting about 160.
Paw Patrol course. The Paw Patrol course.
Yeah. Hit about 160, and Bobby Witt has not slowed down.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see your guys' takes on if you think maybe Bobby Witt's done enough now to see, because I don't see anybody else in that race except for them two, to be, in all honesty.
You don't think his own teammate?
Witt,
Juan?
his own
Soto.
teammate?
Juan?
Soto's gotten.
I just don't see.
I was looking at his numbers this year, and I mean, dude, he's hitting right around 300. I'm not sure if he's either below or above. But he's got almost 40 homers. He's over 100 RBIs. I mean, that's as like a prototypical MVP season as it gets. Granted, yeah, I know Bobby's doing it probably better, but I mean, I would say he's in the conversation.
So I didn't want to cut you off, but I think that part of the MVP is certainly a popularity contest.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
And I just don't think that Soto's a very popular player.
you don't think so?
But no, he is a very popular
Oh,
player.
gotcha.
He is. But he's not as popular as Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
so and they're on the same team. They're going to kind of, if you think of the Yankees, who's the first person you think of?
You think of Aaron
Aaron
Judge.
Judge. And so, but the thing is, the reason I think Bobby Witt probably has more advantage, you think of the Kansas City Royals.
Right.
You're not thinking he's had a great year.
He's the guy there.
Yeah, he's had a great year, but you're not thinking about Vinny Pasquantino.
Yeah.
So, that's just kind of where I sit with that.
I think you can make an argument for Soto though.
100%.
Yeah.
He's definitely that third guy. If you're looking at 1, 2, 3, he's number 3. I mean, just due to that's the slow last month or two for Judge. You got to think Bobby has a slight lead now. I mean, there's 8 games left. It's going to be pretty much down to the wire, I think. It's going to be a really thin margin for whoever does pull it out.
And this is something I don't like that the MLB does, but obviously your team making the playoffs is a big thing, and the Royals are kind of slipping it away. They're kind of iffy on that wild card now, and the
push Judge over.
Exactly, and the Yankees are going to win the division.
They just clinched.
Yeah, the
playoffs,
Baltimore Orioles have collapsed the past little bit, but so we'll see how that all goes. I did want to bring one more person up because I was interested, and I texted this in our group chat. I'm not sure what group chat I texted it in, if I'm being honest, but it's insane that more people aren't talking about the year that Emmanuel Clase is having.
Crazy.
Because if you look at his numbers, now I understand Tarek Skubal is probably going to be the Cy Young, deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
But Clase
you can make an argument for
has
Clase.
Similar to better numbers than Eric Gagne did when Gagne won his Cy Young in 03.
Many moons ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. And I understand it takes a lot for a closer to win a Cy Young. I mean, you're talking about Edwin Diaz 3 years ago when he was lights out for the Mariners. He didn't sniff Cy Young.
I was going to say, he probably didn't even get a vote.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for someone like that to do it. And I get it. You pitch one inning compared to Skubal's going out there for 6 or 7
every night,
every single 5 days.
Yeah.
And so I get it, but I just thought I'd bring up the fact that Clase is elite. I mean, he's got a sub-1 ERA. Oh yeah, he should. And they're a good team too. I'm not sure their starting pitching is going to be a little weird. They have Tanner Beebe, and why am I drawing a blank? They have one other really good pitcher, but I'm drawing a blank on him. But seems like in the postseason, you really need 3 solid starters. That's why the Phillies are so dangerous.
Yeah.
Because they have 3 quality guys.
Depth.
Yeah. And bullpen. But shit. There's no one else in the MLB you'd rather give the ball to in Game 7 of the World Series up by a run.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe if you want a 4-out, bases loaded in the bottom or in the top of the 8.
You might even see a 6-out save.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Those last 8. That's what I'm saying. 6 guys, yeah.
So I just think that it's been insane. Is there anything before we move on to football? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything you guys saw or something like that? Maybe bring up the Angels a little bit. Slide them in.
There's nothing.
We don't have to talk about that.
I mean, Zach Neto was the first Angel infielder to go. 2020? So I mean, good signs there, but just there's so much that needs to go improving.
And he might win the Gold Glove.
I mean,
he's the best defensive shortstop in the MLB.
He's been that guy. I would love to see them do a Braves-like extension for him. That'd be because I don't see them winning next year either. Granted, with how young they are, and I know they want to win with Trout, but it doesn't happen overnight. So I would just love to see them at least take the proper steps in the right direction, getting the team better rather than just doing it for one guy. So that's my hope.
For sure.
I could definitely see, it was interesting a few months ago I was talking about, and I'm going to bring up the Mets again, but this is kind of a relatable situation in a way. The Angels are trying to get some youth and make that youth movement. Got to start getting guys on Braves contracts. I'm a big fan of Braves contracts. It's interesting because when I was talking to somebody earlier in the year, they were asking me about the Mets. This was before the Mets started going on their run.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's very interesting because the Mets are very young. Like Alvarez, young.
Yep.
Pete's obviously not very young.
Still, I mean, he's going to get a fat extension.
Right now.
New contract.
Or new contract.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, he's on the IL. Jeff McNeil, obviously not very young.
Yeah.
Iglesias, who's filling in, doing amazing. Obviously not very young.
Mm-hmm.
But Ronnie Mauricio,
yeah,
young. And he's coming back next
Luis.
year. You have Lindor. You have Vientos. God, I hope they continue to teach Angel Acuna to play the outfield.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
And then you have Nimmo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep my ideas of who's going to play right field for the Mets out of this. But
Oh god.
Oh, God.
Obviously, Starling Marte's not getting any younger.
Right.
So you probably, and the Mets do, honestly, they free up $110 million in cap, losing the Verlander, Scherzer, and Cano contracts. So it's nice. They have a lot of money.
We're gonna have some money to play with.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Mhm.
So we'll see how that goes. But that's kind of where the Angels should probably need to go. Is they have some good guys like
we have a good young core.
Yeah.
Logan O'Hoppy's legit.
Yeah.
Logan O'Hoppy's legit. Like, and that's 2 premium positions right there.
Yeah.
And hopefully
You have a
with
shortstop and a catcher.
with Mike Trout coming back and willing to move to like a corner outfielder spot or just a strictly DH as a DH.
Yeah. Definitely.
That in theory that would help with any injury issues that have been occurring over the last couple of years.
He would hope.
And then you may not like him, but Luis Rengiffo's solid, especially this year.
Yeah.
He's been really good this year. Obviously, we got banged up, but you'd like to think with the young core that we have that obviously, like you said, it's not going to happen next year.
Yeah.
Or even the year after that, maybe. But we're on a slow incline up, hopefully.
So I'll ask you guys this
Player-wise.
before.
Yeah.
I'll ask you guys this before we move on to the football talk and all that. One more thing. Do you think Mike Trout has pushed to play center field instead of DH now that Ohtani's gone? Because let's be honest, he hasn't won a Gold Glove. Exceptional outfield defender. But do you think kind of in the back of his mind, the fact that he hasn't won a Gold Glove is why he wants to go out there and prove that he can actually play center field very well?
I'm sure that is the case. As any competitor, especially at his caliber, you want to be at the best at what you do. And if I'm sure that's like a bug that's been bothering him, even if he doesn't want to admit it, like he wants to win that Gold Glove, and maybe he's like keep pushing for it to happen, but it just seems like it's not in the cards for him.
Yeah, I love Mike Trout, but I don't never see him winning one. Just getting older, injuries starting to rack up, sadly, and I mean, the guys are only going to get younger and faster. So, but that's just my opinion.
And one more thing, I hope that the MVP winning for Shohei Ohtani at DH kind of shows him that you can win an MVP as a DH.
Yeah.
Because he could do it too. I don't know if he'd go 50-50 because they probably want to keep him healthy.
Steal all those bags.
He definitely could, but they probably want to keep him healthy.
He could, but I
think
don't know
he
if they
could
would
hit
let
the
him.
homers though.
He could.
I think he could go 50
The
plus.
last time he had semi-healthy season is he played 100. He played 105 games and hit 40 home runs.
Yeah.
Like he's elite.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt. I just hope he stays healthy. All right, so that's enough of the baseball talk. Let's go ahead and go to football. We'll move on to week 3 of football first. As I pull up kind of like the slate, we won't go game by game. We'll just kind of talk about some stuff. While I pull this up, is there anything you guys like going into week 3? Anything you saw week 2 or anything like that?
I know the
Something that
Ravens
gives you
fan might
hot?
have some.
I want to talk about them right now. I mean, right off the bat, kind of what's, I guess, the first piece of breaking news this week. Dave Canales, who we talked about last week on the podcast, the Panthers head coach, decided to make the move from Bryce Young in place of Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. It kind of seems like the Bryce Young project is over in Carolina. Honestly, I feel bad for the kid. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, just look at the history. Look at Baker when he was there, and then look at Baker now.
Look at Sam.
Look at Sam when he was there, and look at Sam now. Yeah, it's only been 2 games as a starter again for Sam, but it's been lights out. He also has one of the best receivers, or if not the best receiver in the NFL to throw
that
to.
helps.
And one of
that
the best
definitely helps.
offensive play
Sure.
callers. Kevin O'Connell's a dog.
Yeah,
But still, you gotta. It's the problem in Carolina is more than
just
the
him.
quarterback. It is a organizational disaster, and I think Dave Canales really had no choice. Are you gonna keep Bryce Young as starting and lose the locker room, or are you gonna just decide, hey, you know what? We'll worry about Bryce Young after the season, whether that's trading him, making him a backup, letting him sit the rest of the season, hopefully maybe develop,
Yeah.
and just having Andy Dalton, ride the season with him. But we'll see. That's going to be interesting to look at. Let's see if Andy Dalton can maybe, light a spark, see if they could get a couple wins out of him. But
Certainly can hurt.
If you're a Carolina Panther fan, expect the first overall pick again next year.
I think so. I feel bad. You're right. I do feel bad for Bryce. It's not exactly that they have the best. they don't have the best help around him. He was asked to perform a miracle last year. Frank Reich was run out of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
He was so bad, and the Panthers thought it would be a good idea to hire him. You know, it's not. We brought this up. I couldn't remember his name last week, but I did remember his name this week. Dave Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, is very short-fused with all his coaches, whether it's the soccer team that he owns or the Panthers. So Bryce Young, in his 2 years, has 2 different offenses. If you want to go back to when he was at Alabama, they had a new offensive coordinator his last year, his senior year. So he's had 3 years, 3 different offenses, and not that much help. I mean, at Alabama, he obviously had help. They had studs. But in Carolina, no help when it comes to offense. Their offensive line are revolving doors. You know, they just let people in. And you're asking him to perform a miracle, and he can't. I think you're right. I hope Bryce Young takes this time to kind of sit back. The pressure's off of him now. You know, he can just kind of learn. And Dalton's a good vet. He could teach Bryce Young some stuff. Maybe he gets that time off now that he certainly looks like he needed beforehand.
I mean, realistically, I think you'd like to see him traded sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Maybe to a team that's willing to sit on him, you know, be a project.
Well,
like
I was gonna say the Dolphins.
Maybe like the Dolphins or
yeah.
I was thinking like maybe the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stafford's not getting any younger.
Yeah. Right.
And I mean, this is the year to really, if you want a project QB, he's a good one to trade for, you know, and sit under Stafford, especially while ideally, or not ideally, but looking at him right now, you're going to see that they might have a downhill slope here, you know, with the injury bug biting LA.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe they go out and do that. Who knows? I just think, again, just on the organizational downfall of the Panthers, look at the whole the situation with the D end.
Brian Burns.
Brian Burns. How do you get offered minimum first round pick for him?
Yep.
Say no, we're gonna get more. Yeah, 2. No, we're gonna get more, and then end up trading him for like a 3rd and a 5th. It's just that shows you the type of organization and the type of trades that they're doing out down there in Carolina.
Yeah, it's just bad business. And you know, when you have a just an organization like that, you do kind of want to get out of it. And you're right, the LA would be a good spot because there's not many better head coaches to learn offense under than Sean McVay.
Mm-hmm.
I know broadcast booths keep calling for Sean McVay. Yes, but he's what is he, about 28 now?
He's gonna be a head coach for a long time, whether that's the Rams or not.
Yeah, because once he leaves the Rams, I think they're
hot commodity.
Let's see. Obviously, if the Chiefs have Reed, they'll keep Reed. The few other coaches that'll stay where they are. There's probably about 29 teams that would want Sean McVay.
Hey, Texans aren't in there.
No, but
I'm happy we go.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
All right. So we're running. Let's speaking of the Texans, let's go to them real quick. They play Minnesota. In Minnesota, I do believe.
Yeah.
So what about AJ? We'll start with you. What do you think about this game? Both 2-0 teams, both have proved a lot. Looks like Minnesota probably has more to prove than the Texans. Everybody thinks the Texans are going to be good. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I can't be mad. You know, 2-0, definitely take it rather than being 1-2 or 1-1 or 0-2. The only thing that scared me is the red zone offense. Scared me a little bit. Kaimi's done some heavy lifting for the Texans when it comes to scoring, and I mean, it's not like CJ's getting them there. They just got to get that final. You know, that red zone TD. It's just been a bit of an issue for them.
That's with everybody though. I mean, field goals are way up.
Yeah.
So it's not like. But so, what do you think? You think someone like Sam Darnold can get it going against that Texans team? That Texans defense is really good.
I can't say no.
Look at what they did to the 49ers last week.
That's true.
They beat arguably the best team in the NFL last week. I would say pretty handedly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even just the offense. You know, they look good. But, I mean, even the defense, you know, Brock Purdy looked pretty bad. If that's being nice, I would say. He looked pretty bad. And, I mean, you know, that was a dominant win. There was never really a time where you're like, oh, the 49ers might come back. And, you know, it never really felt like that. So that's, for me, going in there, they're 2-0. But I'm not going to expect this to be
it's
a little
be competitive.
a sweep. Yeah,
It should be competitive.
Definitely going to be competitive. So I mean, I'm hopeful, but I wouldn't be surprised.
For sure.
Well, I completely understand. I think that Justin Jefferson is healthy. It looks like he's going to play. So that's a big part. You got anything on that game? You want to add anything, or you all good?
No, I'm good. I don't like the NFL anymore.
Okay. I don't blame you. I'm almost there too. All right, let's go to one more game before we talk about your favorite team. I'm sorry, and then my favorite team. Let's go to one more game. This game's probably going to be pretty good. You got the Philadelphia Eagles down in New Orleans. The best offense in the NFL so far with New Orleans.
Zero arguments right now.
If you were to if the season were to end right now, Derek Carr is winning MVP.
Yeah.
Imagine saying that sentence last year.
Well, it's election year, Derek Carr. Did you see that video?
Yeah,
he has career years every single election year.
I mean, you look at what they're doing in New Orleans. There must be something in the gumbo because Derek Carr is an MVP and Alvin Kamara is the Offensive Player of the Year. That's essentially that's it. Alvin Kamara, I believe, has 5 or 6 touchdowns in 2 games, which is ridiculous.
He had 5 last week, right?
4.
No, 4.
4 and then 2 the first week.
55-yard screen untouched.
I know.
Not a single player
they can
touched him.
AK is back.
Yeah.
After a couple
that offense
down years.
Revived.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a big test for the Eagles. You look at them coming in, after that brutal loss to the Falcons on Monday Night Football last week.
Kirk
O'Chain showed up. I think this is going to be a big test for the Eagles. Let's see what they can do. No A.J. Brown again. Confirmed out.
Yes.
It's going to be tough for them to win this game, especially if New Orleans keeps it up 3 weeks in a row with that high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if Jalen Hurts can limit the mistakes, limit turnovers, feed Saquon Barkley, feed Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Utilize Dallas Goedert when you need to utilize them, right? 3rd down situations, big, early drives. So I mean, it's going to be probably one of the highest scoring games of the week on paper. But
on paper, yeah.
We'll see.
I think. Listen, Derek Carr's confidence is through the roof right now. He's getting fined for hitting MJ moves and grabbing himself and all that.
A hump.
Yeah, I mean
he's feeling himself, but good for him.
Can't blame him.
Shit, he's been really
with the Raiders, I'm sure he had 0 confidence.
Oh, zero. But I mean, we can end this. But Saints look good, and Philly's coming off. I'm sure this is, like you said, a back.
They want that comeback week.
That comeback week.
Comeback win.
We'll see if they do it. They needed a few comeback wins last year, and they couldn't get it.
Especially, and you got to look at it like, especially last week, like this could be the week, or last week could have been the week that bites them in the butt. Yeah, when you're looking at the division.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys get brutalized at home by the Saints.
Yeah.
You're up late on Monday Night Football at home to the Falcons, right? And then you end up losing that game. That one game could affect, division winner at the end of the 100%, season.
Right.
So they're definitely going to have to come back and show that they can, secure a dub against a really good team.
Yeah. Right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break real quick. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Colts and the Ravens, maybe a few little news around the NFL, and then we'll skip on to some college. So go ahead and stay tuned with us. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. We'll just pick up right where we left off. So since we kind of did some poking and prodding during the intermission, we'll go ahead and skip to the Baltimore Ravens at Dallas Cowboys game. Just a little heads up before we start talking about this. You might want to lower down the headphones, maybe. Just depends on how heated he gets.
I'm going to be calm, cool, and collected.
Until somebody brings up.
I don't have enough energy to deal with the Baltimore Ravens right now. I mean, it's clear that something needs to change. I don't think I'm fully on the fired John Harbaugh train, but it's getting pretty close. Like I'm walking to the platform right now. Some of his coaching decisions are just, very questionable. I think that Mike McDonald in Seattle our old DC, I think he should have been the Baltimore Ravens head coach. I knew that he was going to be a stud when he got signed. I was wishing he stayed with us as a DC, because our new DC, Zach Orr, former linebacker for the Ravens, really good at stopping the run game. Number 1 rushing defense in the NFL, but I think we're like bottom 10 in passing defense. And when you make big money signings like Marcus Williams as a safety.
Yep.
Marlon Humphrey, who was an All-Pro, obviously hasn't been like that the last couple years.
Injuries, I know.
Yeah, he's been injured.
But when you bolster that secondary,
you draft Nate Wiggins, who was really good this preseason. But, just unlucky. Someone crashed into him. He gets a concussion because of a car crash.
Yeah.
So he hasn't played the first couple weeks. So hopefully he plays this week. We'll see. I just think it's just a lot of unlucky. We went toe-to-toe, literally. Isaiah Likely's toe was out against the Chiefs week 1. You hate to see that. And then in a game that, we kind of controlled a lot of until that fourth quarter where Gardner Minshew just decided to become
him.
Hell yeah.
Him.
prime.
Hell yeah.
Whoever.
That was
prime.
Colts Gardner Minshew right there.
It's crazy.
Mid-season.
They lose to the Raiders at home in a home opener. It's just something that it hurts to see, especially making a big signing like Derrick Henry and not using him the way that Derrick Henry should be used. You see Lamar, passing the ball a lot more, which is kind of at least strange to me because you think, with the signing of Derrick Henry, with already being the number 1 rushing team in football or rushing offense, you think we're going to rush the ball even more. And it seems like we're doing a lot less, especially with Derrick Henry. But it's going to be a good challenge. It's going to be, I'm still excited to watch them. They have so many weapons that have potential that we'll see. It's Cowboys coming off a big loss. They're obviously going to come back fighting at home. It's going to be a tough game, but I mean, hopefully we pull out the victory. I think starting 0-3 is going to be tough. I still think playoffs are in our future. The team just has too much talent on offense and defense to not make the playoffs. So we'll see. It's tough.
Well, it's crazy. You guys could now. This is a good bounce back game for them. Good little, I guess it's just a good test because it's really going to test if the Baltimore Ravens can make the adjustment. The Dallas Cowboys are severely undersized at the linebacker position. If the Tennessee Titans a year ago were playing an undersized defense, Derrick Henry's getting the rock probably 35 times. And this might make you mad, and I'm sorry. But the Baltimore Ravens probably have the best 1-2 running punch in the NFL. Because you have the speed and elusiveness of Lamar Jackson and the power of Derrick Henry. I don't understand why they're not lining up in a lot of shotgun formation. You're having Lamar under center a lot. I don't think Lamar's very comfortable under center. You need to run them. I'm no NFL coach. I just think that they should run more shotgun formation. A lot of not read options, but get
Play
them
action.
some space. I mean, you can pound the rock through the middle with Derrick Henry all you want, especially against this Dallas team because they're undersized. But now you're not using Lamar Jackson to his capabilities. Get Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not in the whole boat that Lamar Jackson is a running back. I like to poke fun with you, but Lamar Jackson has a hose. Get him out of the pocket. Let him make those decisions. He's obviously shown he's willing to run this year. He tried to run people over in that Chiefs game because he wanted it so bad. Get him out of the pocket. Get him doing what he's doing or what he can do very well. Mm-hmm. And when you need it, give the rock to Derrick Henry and let him run over 4 dudes for 6 yards to get you a first down or into the goal line.
For me, it's more than Lamar, though. And I told you guys this after the Chiefs game. He can't be Superman every week.
No.
Everyone knows Lamar's going to go out there and be that MVP caliber, player and quarterback with his arm, with his running ability. He's going to show out. It's about the other guys stepping up. It's about the former All-Pro Marlon Humphrey stepping up on defense. It's about Roquan Smith being a leader and doing what he does best and leading that defense to actually, pass protect or pass or protect the passing, options there. I just think that if we had some more skill position or at least more depth at wide receiver, that would help tremendously because Zay Flowers is really good, especially this year. He's a target machine. He's a catching machine.
Yeah.
But when your wide receiver 2 is Rashad Bateman, and you guys know this, I do not like Rashad Bateman. I'm sure he's a great guy.
I'd say Isaiah Likely is probably your second
But see, we didn't use him a lot.
He got 3 targets last week.
We didn't use him a lot, and targeted Mark Andrews more, which is I love. I love getting Mark Andrews involved. Good to get him involved more. It's just it's tough when it has to always be on Lamar's shoulders, and that's again where it falls to coaching. How are you going to coach your best player and your team to confuse the defense enough to where it's like, okay, we don't have to pressure Lamar as much as we do, especially with the Ravens offensive line that has been struggling the first couple weeks.
And the Ravens don't give much eye candy before the snap, huh? They don't move a lot of guys around and all that.
You might just see Zay in motion.
I mean, you see a couple motion guys. It's tough. I like the motion stuff. I like it. Again to that Kansas City game, people were giving Lamar flack for throwing, screens a lot of the first half. That's what you have. That's how you get a quarterback comfortable. It's the first game of the season against the defending Super Bowl champions. You get them in the rhythm and stuff, and it was working. When you break off 6-yard screens, yeah, it's boring. It's not sexy, but you're moving the chains. So it's tough.
Well, I think everybody sees Lamar as Superman. I mean, he's like you said, he's a 2-time MVP already. I think the thing is if that was, and this is not Lamar's fault, but if it's Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, some guys like that, Matthew Stafford, throwing those screen passes out to the playmakers to make plays and get out there. I mean, shit, I love them. But the 49ers offense is get the ball on the guys that can move and let's go down the field. I think the difference with Lamar is everybody knows Lamar, on top of being a quarterback, is one of those playmakers. So when Mahomes gets a snap, when Stafford gets a snap, when Rodgers gets a snap, they're not playmakers. You're not going to, now Mahomes can run a little bit, but he's not going to bust out these long runs and make people miss and be an unbelievable athlete. That's just not how they are. But when Lamar gets a snap, he's immediately probably the most athletic person on the field. And I think that is completely unfair, but that's why it's different with Lamar, I think, in my opinion, where you don't want Lamar to do all that stuff because you'd rather see Lamar pull back, look deep, nobody's open. Fuck it, I'm going to run 60 yards or whatever, and then make a dude miss with a spin move or, whatever, step out of bounds because he avoids hits perfectly. Like, he is the dream running quarterback where most running quarterbacks you see. I mean, look, Anthony Richardson runs the ball a lot, and he's huge like Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen, I'm not going to say he's gotten lucky or whatever. He's also massive.
Yeah.
So the big hits aren't as big to him. Lamar is not. And Lamar, just like other elusive quarterbacks in the past that are not undersized, but, not as big as these massive linebackers hitting them, they get hit, and it's that one hit where it just knocks them forever. And Lamar's done up to this point, and I'm sure he's going to continue to do it, done a very good job of missing that hit.
Yes.
And but like I kind of went off on a tangent, I guess, but it's just unfair. But Lamar is probably the best playmaker on that team, and that's why it's probably unfair. But that's why he probably gets so much slack for only throwing those screen passes. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the Cowboys for a second. We'll get our views up by putting #Cowboys in there and all that. But this is going to be an interesting game, like you said. The Baltimore Ravens don't do well against the air raid, and the Cowboys, obviously, they played the Saints last week. Their defense looks bad in general, but Kamara obviously went on the ground for a lot. So it's going to be interesting. They're obviously, Dallas Cowboys are going to throw the ball a lot. Are you worried that maybe, the Cowboys just end up throwing the ball all over the yard against the Ravens? Or do you think the Ravens could bounce back from a not Ravens start?
Obviously, when you have CD Lamb on the other side of the ball, he's gonna eat. He's gonna get his. You can only limit him. You can't stop him.
Yeah.
You can only, try to deny him of what he's inevitably gonna get.
Right.
Which is a lot of catches and a lot of yards. So it's kind of one of those things where you want to stop the bleeding. But I mean, like I said, the defense just has to step up. If they step up, whether that's doubling CD and making Brandon Cooks go out there and make a play, Jake Ferguson making a play.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's coming back this week.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully they can. I'm not worried about the run game. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. But with Zeke and Rico Dowdle in the backfield, it's not that scary. No, he hasn't. It's not that scary of a running attack.
Right.
So if we can limit Dak and CD making the big plays, then I think we should be okay, in theory.
CD's comparable. This is going to be a little bit of tangent, but CD's comparable. I was watching an interview, Jack Johnson, a defender, completely different sport, but relevant for the CD thing. Jack Johnson, defender for the Avalanche, was talking about how they played again against the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid. And after the game, they're like, damn, we locked up Connor McDavid. Like, he didn't do anything in that game. They went back, and on the stat sheet, Connor McDavid had 3 assists.
Jeez.
And it was like, oh, shit, maybe we didn't do it. I think that's the same thing with CD Lamb, where you could feel like you locked him up if he goes for 96 yards, but he doesn't score.
Yeah.
Catches the ball like 8 or 9 times. It's like, shit, okay, the dude obviously still had a really good game.
Bend but don't break defense.
All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and go on to the next section. Before we start, unfortunately, as you guys know, we had a little bit of some technical difficulties, but we're going to go ahead and do our pick'ems. Boys, we took in the shorts last week.
I think everyone did.
I think everybody did.
Last week was the week of the upsets.
Yes, it was. So you know what that means? We can turn it around this week.
Yes.
We can turn it around.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll go ahead and now name off the first few, and we'll see how this goes. We'll start with the New York Giants playing the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. So
Dogs.
Go ahead, AJ. You go ahead and kick us off on this one.
I took them last week. I'm going to take them again. Give me the Browns. Deshaun, you have a special place here. Just know that.
He also has a special place. Never mind.
I'm also going to take the Browns, not because of Deshaun, just because the Giants are ass.
I was going to say the same exact thing. Give me the Browns. All right, here we go. The Chicago Bears versus the Indianapolis I Can't Stop the Run Colts. I'll start this one, if that's all right.
Sure.
Go for it. Shocker. Turn the bus around. I'm giving Indy.
Okay. I love Jonathan Taylor.
Here we go.
But until Anthony Richardson can figure out, and someone needs to remind him that Michael Pittman's his wide receiver 1.
No, he's not that important.
I guess. He must have thought Alec Pierce threw that jersey on or something, because that's who he's treating like his 1.
Don't disrespect Alec Pierce like that.
I will also take the Bears. I think Caleb Williams has a nice bounce back game.
All right. Houston in Minnesota.
This is going to be a good game.
Yes, it is. How about you start us then?
Okay, I'll take the home team. I'll take Minnesota.
Okay.
Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings upset the Houston Texans.
Let me see that pick 'em right now.
I'll literally pull up the receipts right now.
Okay. I gotta stick it with my boys. I think Stephon Diggs gets a little revenge game here. He was there many moons ago. Give me the Texans, baby. Wow.
I got the Houston Texans as well. I think that they're just kind of a wagon, and I think they'll go until they don't. That's good.
We'll see.
That's good insight right there. Go until they don't. All right. Last one I'll name for now. We got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New Orleans Saints, led by Michael Jackson reincarnated Derek Carr.
The later version.
I'll start it off, and I'll take the upset. Some would say an upset. I'll take the Eagles away in Indy or in New Orleans. I think
could be an Indy.
I think Saquon absolutely eats this game. We'll see though.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna keep riding the hot hand. I think that they're gonna stay hot. Their offense is at least gonna stay hot. I'm gonna take the Saints.
Oh man, everything wants me to say the Eagles inside, but when Darius Slay's getting beat on one of those by Drake London, and I mean it wasn't by it was a close play. Darius Slay thought the game was over because he was I don't know where he was going. So give me the Saints against the Eagles.
All right, well, let's see. Next game, I think it's going to also be a good game, a good test for the Chargers. Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who do you got, Brian?
Well, as I try and fix my phone so we can see this, I'm going to take the Steelers. I think the Steelers are a good team. I think their defense is unbelievable. I really like Jim Harbaugh. I really like that Chargers team. I don't know if J.K. Dobbins is explosive this game because how good that defense is. That's why I'm taking the Steelers.
Oof. Usually I would take the better quarterback, which in my eyes, I always will think Justin Herbert.
Yeah, of course.
But I think this is still a Charger team that's not the greatest. I feel like they haven't played anyone really great yet. So give me the Steelers to go 3-0.
I will not take the Steelers to go 3-0.
Really?
I
like that
think
pick.
Jim Harbaugh goes into Pittsburgh and they secure the dub. Like you said, I'll go with the better quarterback. I think Justin Herbert's really going to take over. Maybe a game that J.K. Dobbins doesn't explode like he has been, but we'll see if Justin Herbert can bring it back to form. Next, we have the Broncos at the Buccaneers. I think it'll be pretty unanimous that we're all going to go Buccaneers here.
Yeah, the Colts need to the Colts need to play the Broncos stat. Little bounce back game. No, yeah, give me the Bucs.
Confidence. You got Bucks?
Yeah, give me the Bucs. Come on.
All right. Next game, revenge game. Some would say Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers. Potentially Jordan Love. We'll see.
Yeah,
still
I did see that warming up a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy.
At the Tennessee Titans. Brian, who do you got?
I know that down here it says I have the Packers. I'm kind of flipping. I think I'm going to stay with the way that they ran the ball against the Colts at will. Tennessee doesn't have a great defense either. Give me the Packers.
I actually really like what Will Levis can do.
He's like Carson Wentz.
The old.
Yeah, he's like
Carson was not. Okay, actually, yeah,
he was not that bad.
Okay, but still, I think I really like what he can do with the football, but what he has done are two of probably the worst plays I've seen this NFL season so far.
And his coach let him know.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I mean, he's still young, so I think until he can really mature and get those mistakes in the rear view, give me the seasoned Packers.
I'll take also the Packers. I think they go into Tennessee and they just pound the rock, man. Josh Jacobs is going to eat.
Shove it right down their
last
throat.
week.
Wow. Malik Willis maybe has a kind of a revenge game if he does play. And I think I'll for sure take the Packers if Jordan Love does decide to play too.
He can play
he is medically cleared. But yeah, so we'll go with that. Next game, Carolina Panthers at the Las Vegas Raiders. I think this one could be a little closer than people think, but I'll still take the home team. I'll take the Raiders.
Give me the Red Rockets.
Wow.
I said it earlier. I said I had a surprise for them, and I think Carolina will shock the Raiders. I am buying last week. I think the Ravens came out a little slow. Give me the Panthers this week.
Yeah, that's a dumb pick. Panthers are going 0-17. Give me the Raiders.
Let's see. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins, led by Skylar Thompson, at the Seattle Seahawks. Brian, who do you have?
Well, as you see me just pick it right there. I didn't pick it. I actually switched it. I'm taking Seattle. I just the quarter. Never mind. I'm just going to take Seattle. I'm not going to go on into depth about it. Give me Seattle.
I'll also take Seattle winning. I don't think Skylar Thompson and that offense is going to do much. And I think Seattle's defense is really fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think, obviously, that head coach change has definitely helped them out. It's given them a breath of fresh air. And, I mean, you got to win the ugly games. And they did it last week against the Patriots. I think those are the kind of ones that kind of can really make a difference with the team that misses the playoffs and the ones that they make it. So I'm going to take the Seahawks this week.
And next, we have also a really good game. I feel like this week is stacked with, pretty even matchups. We have the Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. I'll lead it off. I'm gonna take the away team. I'll take the Detroit Lions bounce back week against the Cardinals. Obviously, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, that's a good duo. Kyler Murray has been balling out. I'm a Kyler Murray hater, but he's been balling out this year. But I still think that the Detroit Lions are gonna utilize their offensive weapons that they have and score more points than the Cardinals.
Hey Jamie, you mind if I take this first?
Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Ooh.
The reason I'm going with the Cardinals is pre Black Ops coming out. Kyler Murray's unbelievable. I'll probably pick against the Cardinals once Black Ops comes out.
Right.
but I'm taking the Cardinals this week. Their offense looks so good, and Kyler looks unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is even really without getting James Conner really going. I mean, he scored last week. You know what? I had them last week, and I actually took the upset. My bad. Against the Lions or against Tampa last week. Give me the Cardinals this week.
You want to repeat what you said out after when the camera turned off last week?
I think
You
we
remember?
had clear camera footage of me taking shake and bake in Detroit, and now I'm taking the opposing team again.
All
Give me
right.
the Cardinals.
Okay. Go ahead.
Alrighty, so and then we got your boys. We got the Ravens in Jerry World. What do you guys got this week?
I'm gonna take Dallas. I think the air raid against that Ravens defense is gonna be too much. I kind of hope that not hope because I don't have any like actual investment in this game, but I kind of can see the Dallas defense bouncing back. They got some good corners, and the line for the Ravens is iffy. Micah Parsons can eat, so that's why I'm gonna be taking the Dallas Cowboys.
I think for me, I think they gotta pound the rock. I think if we see a game where Derrick Henry totes the rock 30 times, I think we can see the Ravens get off the schneid and finally win their
I
first
think so
ball
too.
game of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I said it first week, second week. I'm never betting against my boys. I'll go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Alrighty, and then next we got the San Francisco 49ers at LA against the Rams this week. Who do you guys got this week, boys?
You know, both teams absolutely banged up.
Yeah.
49ers, no Debo, no CMC. I think for fantasy purposes, breakout game for Brandon Ayuk finally. I'm hoping, fingers
You're
crossed.
hoping.
No George Kittle too. I don't think Kittle's playing.
He's also banged up. He has a hamstring issue. This is gonna be a toss up. Which team is gonna be the least worst? I'll go 49ers though.
Yeah, I think safely just I don't even.
Defense.
You're looking at
Yeah,
Stafford's
Stafford.
weapons this week, and aside from Kyren,
DeMarcus Robinson.
Tutu Atwell, and Jordan Whittington, I don't like the Rams this week. They got curb stomped by the Cardinals last week. Give me the Niners this week.
I think that there's any quarterback that can do it with those type of weapons. It's definitely Matthew Stafford to be able to pull something out of his ass like that. But the 49ers, obviously, although it didn't look like it last week, have a great defense. And let's be honest, although this game's in LA, it's going to be a home game for the 49ers. And that's just how it's going to be. I think that it's going to be a nice bounce back game for the 49ers, although I think it's going to be a pretty tight game because of those injuries. I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah, and then we got the 2-0 Chiefs going against Atlanta, coming off a hot win in Atlanta. What do you guys got this week?
I'll go ahead and start this one. I think that this game's going to kind of shape out similar to that Eagles-Atlanta game, except I think the Chiefs have a little bit better coaching and a little bit better, to be honest, a little bit better of a defense to not let what happened happen again. I think it's going to be closer than people might think. I think the Chiefs pull away with it.
I think if you're a Chiefs fan, if you really think about it, for as dominant as we like to think they are, they've won 2 very close ball games, and I mean they barely beat the Bengals last week.
2 tough teams though.
I do think they win this week, but I think it's another close one. That's just my opinion, and we'll see what happens. But I'm taking the Chiefs.
Here's my upset of the week. I have the Atlanta Falcons
Wow,
beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I think when you look at, like you said, first 2 weeks, the Chiefs obviously against, 2 high-powered AFC offenses. But when you look at it, they barely won in week 1 by a toe. They barely won in week 2 by a pass interference. I think their luck runs out. Hopefully the refs aren't too much on the side of Taylor Swift and Travis.
That pass interference was a good call.
Oh, it was a good call. I didn't say it wasn't.
it's okay.
But
the holding
I
call
do
is
think
good too, right?
I do think that the Falcons will pull it out at home, and hopefully Bijan eats.
He's gonna have to if they want to win.
I think so.
All right, now we're gonna have the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Buffalo. Who do you guys got this week?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Buffalo Bills, better quarterback, better weapons at home. I think the Bills will take it easily 20 points.
What about you, Brad?
I think when you play these mediocre teams, obviously when it comes to the high quality teams, this might not be the case, but it seems like whenever Josh Allen wants to win the game. They will win the game. And that's what's going to happen here. I'll take the Bills.
Yeah, I think for sure. Something in Jacksonville just doesn't seem right with the offense right now. Christian Kirk's hardly getting the ball. Travis Etienne hasn't been too effective. And I mean, with that happening, Trevor Lawrence hasn't been too effective either. Give me the Bills this week. And then we're going to go to Monday night as well. And we're going to go with the Washington Commanders in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Who do you guys got this week?
I got the Bengals. Yeah. Commanders kicked 7 field goals last week to beat the Giants. Clearly that offense struggles in the red zone. I think Joe Burrow with hopefully links better with Jamar Chase this week. T. Higgins coming back from injury. I think that offense is just going to be too overpowered for them.
All right, Brian, what do you got for us?
I'm going to second that. I think this is the week that the offense for the Bengals kind of figures it out. They got almost everybody healthy. I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yeah, I think this is a clean sweep. We're going to go with Joe this week. And, I think it's going to be an ugly one. So I'm taking the Bengals. Yeah.
I think they win by a lot.
Yeah.
I can see it happening.
I'm taking the Bengals.
Well, that's our picks, guys. Let us know if
you agree.
If you agree, disagree. I mean, shit, after last week, we look like idiots. Hopefully this week's a little bit better. A lot of good matchups, so we could be on the wrong side of that.
And for the primetime games, we'll be doing posts on our Instagram story. So make sure to vote on that. We're keeping track of, what percentage of you guys are correct with us. So we'll see.
Yeah, you'll see link to all of our socials down in the description down below. This is going to YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, see ya.
Peace.
Peace.